England are favourites to advance to the final, according to the bookies. Croatia coming in at 13-10. You want more combined 11s? Let's bring it, Robbo.
Well, I've got a lot of England.
Are well represented.
They are.
Here.
I've gone for Pickford in goal, a back three. I've stuck with the back three, and as Mac said earlier on, I've got to stick with the teams that are doing well, the players that are doing well. They've got good understanding. Walker, Stones, Maguire, Young and Trippier in the wing-backs position. Kane centre forward, but the players that come in for Croatia, Perisic on the left-hand side. I think Rebic has had a good World Cup, and in midfield, Modric and Rakitic. So that's the area where Croatia could cause England problems, central midfield.
Raheem Sterling didn't get up front?
No, he didn't. No,
Okay.
no.
I thought he might have.
He's done great work, he just can't score.
Another one of the many who hate Raheem Sterling at this World Cup.
No, I like Raheem Sterling.
It's not like you, that, Robbo. I thought you would all like
his tattoo or what?
No, I like him, but I don't think he's good enough to get in that team. I wasn't playing with two up front. I'm playing with Rebic wide and Perisic on the other side.
And Kane through the centre.
And Kane through the centre.
Any problems with that?
Nope.
Any problems with that?
Well, I thought you might.
What about the goalkeeper? Come on. Come on.
It was funny.
Which one?
You know,
Who did you have in?
Where he
I don't
was
think
injured
Perisic
a little bit
I
during
don't
the
think
game,
Perisic
and you
has been
thought,
great, has he?
did he do his
Perisic
hamstring? Did he not? I think he just had a cramp, and then they got all excited about that.
So
he
Pickford was
going
right
to-
then.
I think Pickford has performed extremely well.
How many other combined 11s have we done today?
Two.
Casey,
Funny, that's
would
because
you
only two
have
games.
Subasic or Pickford if it comes down to penalty shootouts? Because Subasic seems to be a much bigger goalkeeper.
I think both of them have performed well, but Subasic, I think there was that big question mark. Oh, is he injured? Is he not injured? What's going to happen? And
I think the referee is going to to keep a big eye on him because he can.
Big eye.
Yeah,
Well,
big
left
eye.
or right?
Yeah.
he was coming off.
He was coming off his line, and the referee told him.
And they didn't have to call
Whatever's
it because
biggest-
there was nothing that happened when he came off that was an
Because
issue.
they missed the target.
Yeah, exactly.
Or scored.
Right.
Let's focus now, shall we, on the first semi-final. France taking on Belgium. The bookies have got France coming in as favourites, 11-8 on Belgium. Meanwhile, 11-10. I don't think we've done one of these for a while, but just to please Craig, Robbo, what is your combined 11?
My combined
If we
11.
would have both squads.
Yeah, well, I've gone for a back four. Courtois I had put in goal. Pavard, I think, has had an excellent tournament so far. Alderweireld and Varane as the centre-backs. And I put Vertonghen at left-back. Pogba, Kante and De Bruyne in midfield. And then you see Mbappe out on the right-hand side. Hazard on the left. Lukaku up front. How can you argue with that?
So no Griezmann.
No. Who would he come? Who is he better than? Mbappe, Lukaku, or Hazard? No argument. Any good?
Can't believe he split the centre defenders up. You never split defenders up. Varane and Umtiti had to be.
Did it?
Can't split the defenders.
I think Alderweireld's a better player than Umtiti.
Probably, but there's no telepathy with Varane then, you see.
It's not about putting them in the team. It's about the players who have played well. But Craig, any arguments?
No, not on a Sunday.
Courtois or Lloris?
Yeah, not on a Sunday.
Maybe on a Monday, lad. But
I think
not on a
both of them have had good tournaments. I think Lloris came up big in their quarterfinal, just as Courtois did.
Courtois or Lloris?
Who would you pick, mate?
I think as a former Spurs player, I got to pick Lloris.
There you go.
so
His team's wrong then.
What was his team?
If the goalie picked Lloris, that's
I
the
didn't
end
get a
of it.
chance
Well,
to
both
count.
of them had good
I don't
tournaments.
have a calculator with me. How many from each team were in?
Do you need a calculator to count?
I was being facetious. Now shut up.
Oh, I'm not sure, to be honest. Half and half, I think.
6 and 5.
6 and 5.
That'll be
And the manager, I
that'll be
put
half
down,
and
that
half.
was what we
He's
didn't
the
talk about, the
12th place.
manager, Roberto Martinez,
Oh, wow.
over Didier Deschamps, because he's had a good tournament, I think. Roberto Martinez. So I wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the tournament, but come the end of the tournament, he's made the right decisions so far.
So Belgium are going to win it then?
No, France.
Paulinho's going back to China. He just came from China, went to Barcelona, now he's going back to the same club that sold him, less than 12 months ago?
Amazing. And Barcelona, of course, being now able to sell him at a profit. It is one of those very unusual stories where, you sort of wonder whether, some people certainly did very well out of this. I think more realistically, if you're Barcelona, the indication is that with Iniesta, of course, moving on, now Paulinho moving on, I think the thinking is they're plotting something. Don't ask me who, but they're plotting, I think, an important signing in the middle of the park, and this kind of foreshadows it.
Let's take a moment, shall we, boys, to discuss some of the things going on away from the World Cup. And if I may, I'm going to bring Gab Marcotti into the show. Gab, let's start off with Chelsea. It all seems an almighty mess because, of course, Antonio Conte is still their boss.
Well, that's right. Antonio Conte has a contract through June 30th, 2019, and unless he's fired, in which case he'd get a big payoff. He plans on seeing him out, which obviously makes things rather uncomfortable for Chelsea because they're very close to reaching a deal with Maurizio Sarri, the former Napoli manager. But they got to discuss not just Conte's payout, but also the payoff to Napoli because Sarri's still under contract at that end. Right now, it's they're basically playing a game of chicken, and Chelsea rightly saying, well, hang on a minute, why do I have to go and spend more money?
From a player's perspective, boys, how would you feel if you're in that Chelsea squad with all of this going on?
Well, it's certainly not helping, is it? I don't think the players have got a healthy respect for Antonio Conte, unfortunately. I don't think it should matter. He's the manager and he's turned off the pre-season training, and that's exactly what you... But everybody knows there's... The rumour mill at Chelsea is ridiculous at the moment, and I think people are just waiting for him to go. It's not a case of he's definitely going to go, but they're just waiting for him to go and Sarri to come in. So it's... They haven't done themselves and covered themselves in glory at all, Chelsea. The way they've gone about the business has been awful, really.
How's this going to work?
I think it's going to be a real problem for them. They're going into pre-season. There was a manager that, how much work is he actually going to do in this pre-season? Is he going to just keep the players happy for the time being? He's not going to do any tactical work because he's not going to be there. So it's a major problem. And then the new manager comes in. He's got to try and get his tactics over in a very short space of time.
And buying players, Robert,
buying
wasn't it?
players,
because the transfer window closes really early in England this year, of course, the new ruling. So you haven't got any time at all to get your house in order.
And also moving players that you might not think are their surplus goods, and now you're late in getting rid of players as well.
If there was one season where Chelsea had to get their house in order early, it was after what happened last year. Slipping into the Europa League, all the problems that they've had. This is completely against the grain of how Roman Abramovich has operated. He's always just hired and fired on a whim. And now he just seems as if he sat somewhere the whole summer, just letting this whole issue fester, probably because he wants to save the money that they were once spending, they're just not spending anymore.
Gab, how's this going to end?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're hearing what the boys were saying. This is all complicated, of course, by the fact that Chelsea don't have a director of football right now. Michael Emenalo, of course, leaving the club back in December. And, compounding what you guys said about Maurizio Sarri having less time to work on tactics. Remember, this is a very, very tactical manager who needs time to get his point across. So, my guess is ultimately they're going to have to reach some sort of payoff. It looked promising vis-a-vis Napoli on the Napoli end, that they could reach some sort of deal with De Laurentiis, possibly because they were going to sign some Napoli players. But again, if Conte doesn't budge, then there's not much they can do.
Welcome into extra time. He's going home. He's going home. Maka, he's going home. That's it, mate. Been good though, hasn't it?
Well.
You enjoyed extra time?
Well. Yes, of course. It's been great to see you all.
Well, good.
And it's even great to be leaving them.
Yeah, of course. There we are.
I don't mean that negatively towards you, mate.
Oh, that's okay. I won't take it negatively. It's Hazard. Can we got a single on Robbo? Can we do that, Angela? Have you seen this? Can you open it up, Robbo? What? Look at that. Why have you got pictures of the forest in your
I'm not quite sure, really.
Well, you must have asked for it. Did you find it on the rack?
Yeah, just
It's off the
picked
peg.
it off. Yes, off the peg. Off the peg. Anything can fit me. Don't you worry about that, Dan.
Well, no, but do you know what forest it is?
No.
What the relevance of it
Epping
is?
Forest.
Well, you just said no.
Sherwood
Making
Forest.
up a forest.
Sherwood Forest.
Robin Hood, yeah.
Robin Hood.
Just me, you're very big over there.
Yeah,
It
it's a bit tall, Robert. Put it down a bit.
Sorry,
Press the red button.
It's not easy to do.
Well, it's quite easy.
Well, I saw Maka try it the other day with...
No, he was sorry.
No,
There we are. Is Hazard really that good? He's 28 years old this season and has never scored 20 goals in a season. Should Madrid try and get him? Is he that good?
Yeah, I think he is, yeah. Is he good enough to play for Real Madrid? Yes.
Yep.
If there's ever a time that he will leave Chelsea, I think it'll be this year, with the mess that Chelsea are in and the lack of leadership going on within the club. Seemingly he's courted publicly that he wants to play for Real Madrid. Has his price tag gone up because of the World Cup? Probably as well. So
Yeah.
I think he's good enough, yeah.
Harry Kane or Lukaku? At the World Cup, who's had a better
I
tournament?
know from open play, I think Lukaku has been better from open play.
Yeah.
But then maybe it's just the teams that England have played against and stifling horrible defensive.
If you were to sign any of them,
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane all day long.
Right. But just on this tournament, who's had a better World Cup?
I think Lukaku's been excellent. I think he's probably been the better. Particularly the game against Brazil, where he held up the play, did everything you want from him. He scored goals in previous games, some excellent finishes. If you were asking for somebody for the Premier League, I'd still go with Harry Kane.
I think it's a consistency issue with Lukaku. If you see the best of Lukaku more often than not, then he's obviously tremendous. But I think Kane's more consistent week in and week out.
One of the last things Maka was subjected to in this jolly up that he's been on was an evening at the Nichols house.
Oh.
Now, that's always an experience, as you well know.
How was it?
Excellent.
Was it good, yeah?
He was in fine form and he wore his best attire.
Did he wear the jumper, the big blue jumper?
The big jumper came out at the end of the night when it got a little bit cold.
I think that was to keep the gnats away, wasn't it? Mosquitoes away. I think that's what he was talking about.
He
Keep something
he
away.
likes those tight-fitting ones.
Yeah.
It wasn't when he bought it.
Something away.
But all had a lovely evening. Who was the worst for wear?
I was fine.
I was fine.
He was fine, I was fine, he was fine. He was talking to the ladies.
Right. Wow, Robbo.
Talking to the wives, let me tell you, somebody had to, because they were just talking about themselves.
Wow.
No, we were just talking.
And how are you?
I was all right.
You're okay?
He was okay.
Somebody that was with me wasn't. But then there was no surprise. Chicken soup.
Say happy birthday to Mrs. Burley. Would you like to use this platform to do that? Sure, she's a regular viewer of Extra Time.
No. Yeah.
Should Manchester United sign Harry Maguire from Leicester City to address their defensive problems?
It'd be a good signing. Because
Good World Cup,
he's had a good World Cup. He's had a good couple of seasons. He can play out from the back. He's good in the air. He's good in 1v1 situations. He's quicker than people give him credit for. I think it'd be a good signing for any Premier League team. Manchester United being one of them.
I think not. I'd rather them have defensive issues next year. So, no.
I'd like him to stay at Leicester City. I have no problem with that.
And Craig doesn't care.
No.
Pretty much.
What was the question?
Yeah.
What's your favourite ice cream? Case?
Haagen-Dazs, cookies and cream.
Yeah.
Cookies and cream?
Yeah.
Salted caramel down at the
Yeah.
Doubletree.
You like a bit of salt?
Magnificent.
I like more of a sorbet,
really?
I think. I like more of the fruit-flavored sorbets.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Healthy stuff then.
Vanilla.
Yeah.
I don't mind a non-healthy thing either.
I'm the same. I have cookies and cream or vanilla. That's all I have.
That's it. Macca,
That's Nick.
Yeah, Mum.
which did you prefer, Merseyside derby or Madrid derby?
Merseyside derby. Madrid's Atletico against Real wasn't much, to be honest. I preferred the Merseyside derby.
What about the
It
classic?
was-
And Liverpool versus Man United
Wait.
or Madrid versus Barcelona?
Surely it had to be the Real Madrid versus Rayo Vallecano.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Or Getafe. Liverpool versus Man United or Madrid versus Barca.
Thought that would have been an easy one.
Yeah, for sheer size and rivalry, it's Madrid versus Barcelona because they detest each other.
Did you play in the Pig's Head game?
Yeah, where Liverpool, Man United was a bit more localised, wasn't it? Because you're only 30 miles away. But the Madrid versus Barcelona game was.
Are you trying to say Liverpool and Manchester United supporters don't hate each other?
No, they do hate each other, but not as vehemently, as passionately as Madrid-Barcelona. It was quite dangerous at times. Those
gotten
games.
political.
Yeah.
More so now.
Yeah.
We used to have, police running at the side of the bus with guns and stuff. You don't have that. And the bus would be pelted and the windows would all get smashed. That doesn't happen in England. So
You didn't play for Millwall.
for a game of
Only when Liverpool played in the Champions League
against Man City. It'd be probably Madrid versus Barcelona. It's a bigger affair.
Yeah. That's it. That is the end of Extra Time. Good stuff. Thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow without Macca. But fear not, Craig's off, so every cloud. Join us tomorrow. We'll be looking ahead to those semi-finals.
Milan, where to begin? So Lee Yong-hong, of course, the Milan owner, he has to make these capital injections into the club. The latest one that he made was about 32 million euros, round about $35 million. So he didn't have the money at the time. He said he borrowed the money from Elliott, who of course are the fund who he borrowed the money to buy the club in the first place. He had a deadline. He had to return it by Friday, the 6th of July. He did not meet that deadline. So technically, Elliott can now start the procedure to take control of the club. Remember, Lee Yong-hong also will owe Elliott around $350 million that he originally borrowed to purchase the club. Right now, it's kind of, the situation is really, really confusing because there were other buyers who come forward, try to buy the club. Rocco Commisso, owner of the New York Cosmos, has been quite vocal, and he's not the only one. Lee, for whatever reason, did not sell him the club. Now it's a question, if the club falls in the hands of Elliott, what are they going to do with it? Who can they sell it to? Certainly they're getting themselves a tremendous deal because they're acquiring one of the world's great clubs, 7 European Cups for really a pittance, around about $350 million.
Gab, is this going to be sorted before the start of the season?
They kind of have to. I mean, certainly it's in Elliott's interest. I mean, if they do sell the club before that, I suppose they can get some sort of interim committee to run the club and then sort of settle in for the new season. But remember, Dan, in the background, there's this whole other business with their ban from Europe, from the Europa League for violating financial fair play. They filed they filed an appeal with the Court of Arbitration from Sport. We expect some sort of ruling from them by the middle of July. I would imagine if I'm a prospective buyer, I'm not going to make a formal offer until after that date, because after that date is when I know exactly where I stand, and it's going to be easier to value the club. So, man, it's going to be really, really touch and go when it comes to Milan. But I don't expect a new owner in until the end of July, early August at the earliest, and of course that leaves very few days in terms of transfer window.
England are favourites to advance to the final according to the bookies. Croatia coming in at 13-10. You want more combined 11s? Let's bring it, Robbo.
Well, I've got a lot of
England
England.
are well represented.
They are.
Here.
I've gone for Pickford in goal, a back three. I've stuck with the back three, and as Mac said earlier on, I've got to stick with the teams that are doing well, the players that are doing well. They've got good understanding. Walker, Stones, Maguire, Young and Trippier in the wing-backs position. Kane centre forward, but the players that come in for Croatia, Perisic on the left-hand side. I think Rebic has had a good World Cup, and in midfield, Modric and Rakitic. So that's the area where Croatia could cause England problems, central midfield.
Raheem Sterling didn't get up front?
No, he didn't.
No?
No,
Okay.
no.
I thought he might have.
He's done great work, he just can't score.
Another one of the many who hate Raheem Sterling at this World Cup.
No,
it seems.
I like Raheem Sterling.
It's not like you, that, Robbo. I thought you were all right with
His
both of them.
tattoo or what?
No, I like him, but I don't think he's good enough to get in that team. I wasn't playing with two up front. I'm playing with Rebic wide and Perisic on the other side.
And Kane through the centre.
And Kane through the centre.
Any problems with that?
Nope.
Any problems with that?
Well, I thought you might.
What about the goalkeeper? Come on. Come on.
It was funny.
Which one?
You know, where
Who
he-
did you have in?
Where he
I don't
was
think
injured
Perisic-
a little bit
I
during
don't
the
think
game,
Perisic
and you
has been
thought,
great, has he?
did he do his
Perisic
hamstring? Did he not? I think he just had a cramp, and then they got all excited about that.
So
he
Pickford was
going
right
to-
then.
I think Pickford has performed extremely well.
How many other combined 11s have we done today?
Two.
Casey,
Funny, that's
would
only
you
two
have
games.
Subasic or Pickford if it comes down to penalty shootouts? Because Subasic seems to be a much bigger goalkeeper.
I think both of them have performed well, but Subasic, I think there was that big question mark. Oh, is he injured? Is he not injured? What's going to happen? And
I think the referee is going to keep a big eye on him because he can.
Big eye.
Yeah,
Well,
big
left
eye.
or right?
Yeah.
Oh, he was coming off.
He was
There
coming off
no
his
doubt.
line, and the referee told him.
And they didn't have to call
Whatever's
it because
biggest-
there was nothing that happened when he came off that was an
magnificent.
Because
issue.
they missed the target.
Yeah, exactly.
Or scored.
Right.